She's not a hardcore, like, she doesn't do the stuff that a political true believer would really do.
Did something. She got 4 million girls registered in like 24 hours. You see that? She broke the website.
That's the thing. It's so easy for her to do that. She just
honestly, I think they're playing with fire here. If there's one person that you do not want to get into any kind of PR war with, it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah. In a development which combines the Republican Party's fervent desire to oppress women in this country, plus their fear of powerful women and their fear of maximum eligible voter turnout, right-wing figures like commentator Charlie Kirk and Trump ally Stephen Miller continue to rant and rave and spin conspiracy theories about Time's Person of the Year, the most iconic pop star alive, Taylor Swift. And in so doing, they might just be poking a bear. But before we unpack all that, if you haven't yet, please hit that like, subscribe, and the alert bell. All right, folks, we have several clips to play. This is the most recent one. Charlie Kirk appeared on some sort of podcast, and he gave his unfiltered thoughts on what Taylor Swift means to him and to the country.
She's not a hardcore, like, she doesn't do the stuff that a political true believer would really do.
Did something. She got 4 million girls registered in like 24 hours. You see that? She broke the website.
That's the thing. It's so easy for her to do that. She just...
So much is packed into such a short clip. So I'm not familiar with the 4 million quote. He says that she registered 4 million girls. I don't know about that figure. He says she did it in 24 hours and that she broke the website and she will destroy the country. So all the right's misogyny and its fear of powerful women and its fear of maximum eligible voter turnout. They are terrified at the prospect of eligible voters registering to vote and then turning out to vote because they fear that they can't win in electoral politics if it just comes down to popularity and popular appeal. Now, even though I'm not familiar with that 4 million figure, I tried to look it up and see if it was verified, but I couldn't find anything to corroborate it. I will say the evidence is clear that Taylor Swift has been a powerful positive force for voter registration. We talked about this earlier this year. Taylor Swift snags 35,000 new registered voters. A Taylor Swift Instagram post drove record-breaking web traffic to vote.org this week and helped the site register more than 35,000 new voters. It's another example of the pop star's outsized influence on the American life, first boosting the economy and now the voter base. This happened also 5 years ago in 2018. Voter registration skyrocketed after Taylor Swift's Get Out the Vote push. This is from October 9th, 2018. Voter registrations among young Americans shot up in the wake of pop megastar Taylor Swift's Instagram post urging her 112 million Instagram followers to get out the vote. Vote.org says nearly 65,000 Americans ages 18 to 29 registered to vote in the roughly 24 hours after Taylor Swift's social media rallying cry. Now, that's huge. That's 100% huge, especially when you consider that people in that age demographic tend to suffer from voter apathy relative to like boomers, right? And even Gen X, right? We need to maximize eligible voter turnout with Gen Z and millennials as much as possible. Now, Taylor Swift was just recently made Time's Person of the Year, and the right wing has been freaking out. She used to be relatively uncontroversial for them, certainly early in her career, 2007, 2008, when she was, a budding country star, and now she has transitioned fully to pop. Very little of her country music roots remain. And she has become increasingly outspoken political. There's this clip that went viral. I think it was from a documentary of hers. We're going to play it, in which she is lamenting, she is openly regretting her silence with respect to American politics after Donald Trump got elected. So we'll play the clip.
Other thing, just from a security standpoint, Taylor Swift comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that. I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that. I'm saying right now that this is something that I know is right, and you guys, I need to be on the right side of history. And if he doesn't win, then at least I tried.
Taylor, here's the problem.
I just want to read you what I wrote, and I'm going to try to start. I just really want you to know that this is important to me.
I totally agree with the issue.
Have you heard first?
Yes, I've read the entire thing, and the bottom line right now, I'm terrified. I'm the guy that went out and bought armored cars.
I worry for her safety as much as anybody does, maybe more. It really is a big deal. She votes against fair pay for women. She votes against the...
She's referring to Marsha Blackburn, by the way, the Republican senator out of Tennessee, who is atrocious, a genuinely terrible person, by the way.
Reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, which is just basically protecting us from domestic abuse and stalking. She votes, she thinks that if you're a gay couple, or even if you look like a gay couple, you should be allowed to be kicked out of a restaurant. It's really basic human rights, and it's right and wrong at this point. And I can't see another commercial and see her disguising these policies behind the words Tennessee Christian values. Those aren't Tennessee Christian values. I live in Tennessee. I am Christian. That's not what we stand for. I need to do this. I need you to just, I need you to forgive me for doing it.
And at one point, at one part of a clip, I guess it's not in this one, you know, she says that this is not your father's Republican Party. And it's very much the case. Again, we won't go into the full detail, but Business Insider talks about how in 2018, Taylor Swift broke her career-long political silence to endorse Democrats from Tennessee, and people are shocked. Now, in the aftermath of the 2023 off-year elections, you know, which happened back in November, a bunch of right-wing figures, including Charlie Kirk and people like Stephen Miller and Jack Posobiec, who are also deranged. Miller, of course, is just one of the foremost fascists in Trump's orbit. They blamed Republican defeats on Taylor Swift. We won't read the whole thing, but far-right commentators are putting the blame for the GOP's major election losses during Tuesday's races on one celebrity, Taylor Swift. We'll give some examples. So Stephen Miller, in the aftermath of Time magazine naming her person of the year, says what's happening with Taylor Swift is not organic, and hinting at some sort of grand conspiracy. Jack Posobiec, in the aftermath of those 2023 off-year elections, said Republicans still haven't internalized that the left promotes abortion as a pro-feminism issue. They aren't voting to kill babies. They're voting because of feminist movies like Barbie and pop stars like Taylor Swift influencing an army of voters. Then he goes all caps. Breaking: the childless unmarried abortion army mobilized by Barbie, Taylor Swift, and TikTok that is crushing Republicans at the ballot box. RNC asleep at the wheel on ballot harvesting. Absolutely deranged stuff from these pathetic losers who can't deal with the fact that despite their numerous institutional and civic advantages, Republicans are plenty powerful and plenty dangerous. They're just not winning on popularity. Their policies suck. Their takes and stances on the vast majority of issues suck. And instead of using that as an invitation to moderate their rhetoric and moderate their policies to try to appeal to a wider audience, they just double down and blame Taylor Swift. This is another comment from Charlie Kirk within the past 6 weeks. This is, again, how he feels about Taylor Swift, and it's just positively deranged.
Taylor Swift is going to come out in the presidential election, and she's going to mobilize her fans. I'll be nice. And we're going to be like, oh, wow, where did all these young female voters come from?
Dude is terrified. Like Taylor, he checks under the bed every night. He is afraid that Taylor Swift is under the bed and is going to kick his ass, which that would be hilarious. Now, MSNBC has also talked about this as well in terms of Republicans poking the bear. This is what one commentator had to say.
Level. And honestly, I think they're playing with fire here. If there's one person that you do not want to get into any kind of PR war with, it's Taylor Swift. Yeah. She is a communications marketing genius, savant. There is no one like her on the face of this planet.
Now, that I do believe. I mean, we joked she's probably the most powerful force in the universe. I mean, obviously, it's a bit of an exaggeration. But listen, 100% in terms of the influence that Taylor Swift has, it is unusual. It is inordinate. She is currently the apex, I would argue, of pop culture icons in terms of, I mean, we've seen pop culture phenomena in the past, Michael Jackson, the Beatles, Elvis, et cetera, and so forth. And certainly for their period, they wield a great cultural influence. But I would argue, especially with social media being what it is, nothing like what Taylor Swift has. They conclude by suggesting that Republicans should fear her, but Democrats should also not seek to weaponize her and just stay out of her way and let her do what she's going to do, because it'll benefit them in the long run.
What is your take on this? And should Democrats try to tap into her and her potential?
I think Democrats should stay the hell away from Taylor. I think that Republicans should stay the hell away from Taylor for their own good. I think Taylor's going to do what Taylor's going to do. This is someone who put out a post on social media saying register to vote, and she got 50,000 people to do that. The connection that she has with her fans, and particularly with young women and young girls and teenage girls, is incredibly strong, and it is moving. And it is bigger than politics. It is about community. It is about autonomy. It is about independence. It is about power. Just as she did with her own masters, re-recording her masters after they were sold out from under her by her former music label, and creating this new art from her old music and making it incredibly successful on the charts and profitable. She is the blueprint for the modern day woman coming of age of how to take the power back from male dominated power structures.
Again, very much true. She is a symbol of everything that the Republican Party and America's right wing despises. And she doesn't care because she's infinitely more powerful than Charlie Kirk and Jack Posobiec and Stephen Miller. I think that as the election gets closer, I would be shocked if Taylor Swift doesn't up the ante in terms of her influence in a way which benefits the progressive left and the Democratic Party in terms of a political bloc. And I think that this Democratic operative is absolutely right. Republicans should be wary and they should be terrified. Do not poke the bear. Do not encourage the wrath of Taylor Swift and her army of Swifties. But on the other hand, given who elected Republicans are and who these right-wing figures are, like, again, Charlie Kirk and Jack Posobiec and whatever, it's just antithetical to who they are. For them to not provoke her, for them to respect her, for them to avoid that confrontation, they'd have to be fundamentally different from who they are. Their values and her values, and again, in the values of the progressive left, the Democratic Party, stand in mutual opposition. There's no way to coexist in terms of those values. They want to oppress women. They want to suppress eligible voter turnout. Taylor Swift is a woman, a powerful woman who wants to maximize eligible voter turnout. So they're destined for a head-on political collision. And in that respect, I'm betting on Taylor. Let me know what you think in the comments.